I started fishing back in 1989. I started my own show in 90, I guess. And I started Oyster Farming. Back in the 90s, there was a wild set of oysters for about 5 years in the bay. So we all dug a shitload of oysters in the wintertime. Wild harvest is months with R. Aquaculture, it doesn't matter. There is no... It's a totally different set of rules than wild harvest. So in 2013, I started the paperwork for my lease, and 16 months later, I got it. And this will be my 7th summer. We're on our 7th season, I should say, of growing. And we market all our own stuff. I've got all the proper licensing so that we can ship from here to Alaska. We can, and our core base right now is a dozen restaurants right here in Rhode Island. But we're looking to expand hopefully this season, probably.
What restaurants do you sell to in Rhode Island?
Let's see, Midtown, Clark's Cookhouse in Newport. In Providence, we've got Mare on the Rooftop, Parkside. We had Hemingway's until the COVID. They were our second restaurant ever, and we had them they were guaranteed standing order for 3 years. That kind of sucks. The COVID took them and 4 other restaurants from me, which fucking blows.
Yeah, right.
Who else? 10 Steak and Sushi, Circe in Providence, Circe in East Greenwich at the golf course. Providence Oyster Bar, Urban Green, which is it's like a grocery store, a little mini grocery store kind of thing, over on the southwest side,
right?
Or in the Spanish district. They have all kinds of funky stuff over there. So that's who we sell to, and we're expanding, which is good.
Yeah. And so what oysters do you farm that you sell to these restaurants? Like, do you just do one, or is there multiple different types you sell or grow?
Different sizes. It's all the same oyster. Wickford oyster. Fox Island oysters.
Okay.
Is what they put up on the chalkboard. The name of the company is Wickford Oyster Company.
So you just grow them in different sizes, you said?
Yep, until they're ready, depending on what restaurant. Some restaurants want them small, some want them big, some want them medium.
Right.
So we pretty much cater to what they want.
So as an oyster farmer in Rhode Island, what laws and regulations do you have to follow?
Oh God, there's a million of them. For wild harvest, for aquaculture, to do your own thing, we've got a whole book from the Department of Health that needs to be filled out every day that we sell out, which is 2 days a week. And you got to time and temp record everything. When you harvest, when you drop the stuff off, what was the temperature when you dropped it off at this restaurant, at the next restaurant, at the next restaurant. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And up until 3 years ago, you never had to do any of this.
Right.
So the whole thing is just government bullshit. They're just making work for themselves, which makes more work for us.
So, and then that leads to my next question. So, are any of these laws and regulations you feel are necessary? And if so, why? Like, do you think any of these rules are, like, necessary? And then the next question would be, like, do you think any of these rules are not necessary, aren't fair to the oyster farmers?
Well, I suppose it's done out of good intentions, but the fact is that it's overboard what they're doing. It's just overboard. You don't need this so much. You know, every restaurant you go into, you walk right in their cooler and put it in a 40-degree cooler. So, and we deliver in the morning. The things are cooled off in a couple hours.
Right.
So, what the fuck? But instead, we got to go get ice. We make a slush. So we dip all the oyster bags after they're counted and bagged and tagged in a what we call a slush tote, which is a tote with no holes in it. A couple shovels of ice, fill it with water, then put the oysters in there for 20 minutes. That brings them all right down to 40 degrees, 42 degrees, like that. And put them in coolers with some ice on them, and send it.
So just a lot of tedious like BS before you send them out, I'm assuming.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it could be a lot worse. I've done a lot worse, dealt with a lot worse things. But I don't know. It's unnecessary. But on the other hand, on the other side of that coin, at least I know that when I drop the stuff off, that it's in the restaurant's hands, and if they fuck it up, that's the problem. Is my name's still on it.
Right.
If they screw up, if they take it and put it in a dirty sink that they just had a bunch of chicken in, and
that's still on you. Yeah.
They got chicken slime on it, even though I've handed off the bag, and now it's your responsibility, the chef or whoever at whatever restaurant, your name is still on it. So we have had to educate the people that we deal with more than twice, because it's a bunch of Mexicans in the back.
Yeah.
They don't. Their culture's a lot different than up here where they come from. I get it. So you got to just be like, you got to be cool and tell them, hey, you can't do that. It's no bueno. So.
What are some of the benefits to the environment that come from oyster farming?
My oyster farm has taken almost a 5-acre chunk of bottom on the southeast side of Fox Island, which was more or less basically, I don't want to say lifeless, but minimal life. Now it's teeming with life because I've built a reef. I've got hundreds of cages with oysters in them, and every cage that's got a bag, the oysters are in a bag, and every bag's got some stuff growing on it, and every little critter in the world is down there picking away on all this stuff.
Right.
And then the bigger critters are working on the little guys, and the bigger ones are working on the little bit bigger ones, and the whole pyramid of life thing, how it works.
So where's Fox Island exactly? Is it close to here?
You live on Jamestown, you don't know where Fox Island is?
No.
Oh my God. Well, you see it every day when you drive across the bridge and you look up towards EB and the island with the lighthouse, the window on it.
Oh, right.
That's Fox Island.
Okay. So every time I do cross over the bridge, I always see the oyster farms over there.
To the south side.
Yeah.
That's all floating gear. We do bottom gear.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's not you guys?
No.
Okay.
We're at Fox Island.
Do oyster farmers have a union or any way to like represent when the state is making laws?
Yeah, the Ocean State Aquaculture Association is OSAA. They are a voice. They're our voice when it comes to that, and they're pretty good with so far. It's odd because CRMC, which controls the aquaculture lease distribution, they're the ones that allow or say yay or nay. DEM hates CRMC and CRMC hates DEM. I don't know why, and I don't care, but they don't like each other.
Really?
So DEM doesn't, and DEM is anti-aquaculture, believe it or not, which I don't understand that either.
Really?
Because most everybody that's in this industry, except for the younger people, are people that worked on the water all their lives, and then they've switched over to this, like myself. I've been doing this is my 33rd winter, not making any money on land whatsoever.
Really?
Not a penny. It's all come out of the water. Hard to believe.
So, what do you think are the most important issues today surrounding oyster farmers?
What are the most important issues?
Yeah, or like what are some of the issues you feel are surrounding oyster farmers today?
I guess the biggest issue is selling your product. If you don't hustle your own stuff, you're at the mercy of the co-op, and the co-op doesn't hustle. I don't know why they're not hustling their stuff. They have their customers, and that's what they got. But they're not like promoting and trying to get more local people or anything like that. They're just not doing it.
So how do you promote your product to the other restaurants? Like, would you
show up with a bag and a dozen oysters, my fucking card inside of it? Here you go, try them out. Let me know what you think, and turn around and walk the fuck out.
Nice.
And then they sell themselves.
Oh.
As quick as 10 minutes, I've had callbacks.
Really?
Cersei and Providence called me back. This Australian guy, he talks like this. He's pretty cool. And he's like, I want these fucking things in my restaurant. These are the fucking best ones I ever fucking had. And I'm like, I love this guy.
So is there lots of competition between like you and any other oyster farmers around?
Oh yeah.
Who's like your main competitor, you feel? Are you like the top dog?
No, we're not the top dog. I don't really look at it as competition like that. I let the oysters do the competing.
Right.
It ain't up to me. I don't make them taste like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so
Mother,
there's nothing
Mother
you
Nature
do?
did.
Yeah, right.
Not the flavor, the shape and the shell, yeah, but not the flavor.
Right,
These
right.
have a unique flavor. They're not too briny, they're not too weak, they got... So it's come to my attention and recently, in the last couple of weeks, that the old timers say that if you can get your oysters that grow near freshwater springs, those are the sweetest oysters you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to believe that we've got some freshwater springs that are bubbling up around Fox Island.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got all that Bissell Cove back there. There's a bunch of fresh water that runs down into the bay right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it stands to reason that there's underground springs
Mm-hmm.
that are bubbling up out around the island.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we got what we got, I think. At least that's what we're running with on the website.
Oh, you guys have a website?
Yeah.
I'll have to look at that
It
later.
needs work, but it needs to be updated from a year and a half ago. But
Mm-hmm.
it's good. There's some good stuff in there. There's a bunch of good shit in there,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So, and then one of my last questions is, in your own words, what does environmental justice mean to you? Or like define environmental justice in your own words.
Environmental justice. Mother Nature's a cruel, cruel bitch, buddy. Let me tell you. She doesn't mind watching you starve to death or getting eaten half alive, and that's, I guess, environmental justice to me. Eat or be eaten.
Right, right. I mean, that's a good way of looking at it.
That's the way it is in the fishing business. Either you come out of the gate, fucking, you better hop on the ice ready to drop the gloves.
Mm-hmm.
Every day you go friggin' to work.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the lobster industry. I lobstered for 30 years. Well, I'm still lobstering now, but hardcore lobstering for a long time. And boy, I'll tell you, you want to talk about competitive. Holy shit. Everybody hates everybody.
In lobster business?
Yeah, it's terrible. My friends that are in the fishing business, that are my lobster buddies, we don't talk about lobstering.
Really?
We talk about boats, we talk about life and things, but we don't talk about fishing. Very rarely.
Mm-hmm. You said you
all
had to...
does lead to fucking arguments and fights. And
Yeah, right.
bullshit.
You said you used to fish, right?
What do you mean?
Like, do you fish? Because I like to fish a lot.
I have that dragger right there that the Lucy Rose is mine also.
What do you guys
that
go
we
for?
use. Pretty much fluke, scup, sea bass, blackfish. We use a big liner. I mean, we don't tow a liner, so
Mm-hmm.
we get all big fish.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you sell those too, or do you just...
yeah, of course we sell
I
them.
don't know. I'm a freshwater fisherman, so I don't know anything about saltwater.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we sell all the fish to a fish house up the road,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in the aggregate quota. We're on that list.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if the limit's 100 pounds a day, 7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
we can go out in 2 days and get our 700.
Mm-hmm.
Or in best case scenario, go out in 1 day and get them.
Mm-hmm.
And then tie the boat up for the week and be done. No additional bycatch, no throwing overage overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have 120 fluke and you're only allowed 100, you're supposed to throw 20 pounds overboard
Mm-hmm.
that should swim away, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them do, most of them do, not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of stupid. That's why the aggregate works so good, because you don't throw it in the back. You just keep what you got and bring it in.
Right.
You got 680 pounds, I'll call it good.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have exactly 700, but
Right.
as long as you're at the north side of fucking 350, and then we're not over, you don't have to worry about pulling to the dock, and the warden's checking you and giving you a hard time. I'm all set with that. Looking over your shoulder constantly sucks.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, as an oyster farmer, Like, what's your kind of day-to-day, like, routine? Like, what do you do day-to-day?
Well, you're gonna find that out this week when you come oystering with us.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Although, actually, I'd rather use this boat, to tell you the truth. When does this project have to be done by?
Not the end of it. Like, as long as we get that done this week, I should be totally fine. Because, like, I just need to have, like, everything done by, like, the end of, like, next week.
Oh, well, then you want to come. You should come Tuesday morning from, like, 8 to noon.
All right.
Something like that.
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
And we'll throw your ass on the skiff. And you can ride out with us, providing it's decent weather anyways.
Yeah, I'd love to get some pictures of what you guys do.
I just got that skiff up and running. I bought that skiff and had it rigged up to go work on the farm so that we could do this project. Because this is the oyster boat, and this boat's tied up for a month now. And the goddamn, like, fiberglass guy, I don't know what the heck's going on there, but he is, what the fuck? Dude. We're going into 11 and you're not fucking answering me.
So, yeah, I was talking to Sean. He's, like, talking...
Sean was with me the first time I ever fucking went and harvested oysters.
Really?
He was here on day one when we put the seed out, and then time went by because we worked together there for a little over 7 years. He was with me when we were loading the stuff up to go. There was little stuff to go set it, and then when we went out and harvested, and I can't even believe we didn't die that day. Holy shit! I thought for sure we were gonna fucking roll over and die.
Really?
Oh, it was rough out, and we got hung. The fucking cage got hung up in the davit. The fucking 300 and something pound cage is hanging way over here, out of the water. It's rough out. Here comes the 4-foot northeast fucking wave coming at us. I thought for sure we were fucking gonna roll over.
Was it in this boat?
No, not this one. It was in my skiff.
Oh.
Originally, I was gonna use the skiff on the farm, but this is the oyster boat. This is a Cadillac rig right here. You got everything you want. All kinds of decos, water, washing, fucking hydraulics, plenty of room to work.
Right.
You got the overhead to stay out of the sun, the rain, the snow. The microwave down below to heat up coffee or whatnots, lunch.
Jeez,
This is a caddy.
Of boats.
Yeah, this is probably the nicest oyster boat going.
Really?
As far as work, the full gamma goes. Yeah, I mean, my deckhands sleep down there. They go out and get all fired up the night before, and instead of being late, they just sleep down below.
Well, I'm excited to do the actual oyster farming thing and that on Tuesday. That seems fun.
Tuesday, we're going to go out and pull bags. Probably what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll pull bags, bring them to the dock, and then we'll work on the Lucy. So you see the skiff is tied up right there.
Yeah.
So we'll use a table on the Lucy to wash everything and count and all that. It'll be a lot easier.
On average, how much oysters are you able to harvest in one go? Like if you were to go out and do it, how much pounds of oysters would you be able to harvest?
Well, they're selling by the piece, and we've had 40 plus bag days. We deliver on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday's usually a sort of a late day, and Thursday's usually a big day. And combined, it works.
All right.
So, yeah, and our biggest account has been closed for 2 weeks, and I'll tell you, we know you can feel it when it comes time to write checks for everybody, because ain't as much coming in, that's for sure. But they're back online, so hopefully we're ready to get right back in business here. Ever since Gina hit the pause back in the fucking first week of December,
yeah, I was gonna
we
mention
went in
that.
less than half of what we've been selling.
Yeah, so
less than half.
So COVID did do you it didn't?
13 weeks we sold zero.
Really?
From March 8th or 16th, 12th, whatever the fuck it was, until the second week of May, we sold nothing. 13 fucking weeks.
Is that because most of the restaurants were closed? Yeah, right.
And that's our entire business. So.
Because I used to work at J22, and I had to shuck oysters, and I just thought it was interesting that here I am learning where they're from and how they're harvested. But yeah.
Jade, where's that?
It's in Jamestown. It's have you ever been to Simpatico? Like, you know, the restaurants in Jamestown?
Yeah.
It's like right next to Simpatico. It's called J22. It's called J22 Tap and Table. It used to be the Oyster Bar, but then it switched. And then, yeah. It's an alright restaurant. It's not my favorite. But yeah. So I appreciate you coming out here with me and doing this for me.
Yeah, well, you're lucky I know your uncle. That's all I can say.
So, are we planning on Tuesday for the boat thing?
Yeah.
Alright.